Like most gamers, I found it hard to get truly excited about the TV adaptation of The Last of Us initially. I watched trailers, found them compelling, but have been burned too many times by producers just trying to make a quick buck from gaming fandom. As we conclude the first series, it's safe to say that The Last of Us has far surpassed all expectations and managed to actually improve the franchise rather than detract from it.
You have no idea what loss is.
Everybody I have cared for has either died or left me. Everybody fucking except for you!
Themes were able to be explored in more depth, background characters were more fleshed out such as Bill and Frank, to the point where what is a fleeting moment within the game became a lifetime. A beautiful story of love, hope, and ultimately a Romeo and Juliet style ending that left the audience in floods of tears. Overall, I felt like this adaptation deviated from the source material the perfect amount. Not too much that it destroys the affinity that gamers have for the series, and just enough to allow for a unique experience. The Last of Us world overall is a window into what humans are capable of when struck by necessity. It's also a great lesson on how people's present and future can be moulded by prior negative experiences. We watch the series from the comfort of our homes on a nice sofa with a big TV, aware of the contradiction, perhaps so that we can get risk-free access to what it may feel like to be without, maybe to fantasize about who we may be at our core.
I've lost something. I'm failing in my sleep. It's all I do. It's all I've ever done.
Like all great storytelling, it confronts the audience with deep questions about human nature and invokes the question, is there a hero and a villain in all of us? You can look at almost every character in the show and see motivations for heinous things that they've done. You can also clearly see their moral blind spots. The Last of Us universe is the antithesis of most of the modern day human experience, yet somehow manages to feel relatable through its incredible storytelling and relationship building on screen. Most of us have a Joel or an Ellie in our lives, someone we depend on emotionally as well as physically, someone we couldn't imagine living without, someone we would potentially risk everything for, someone we look to for safety or feel an instinctive drive to protect. And that is the core of why The Last of Us has managed to captivate so many people worldwide, initially in its gaming form and now to a broader audience on television.
So fucking cool.
Now that The Last of Us has concluded the first series, we're able to discuss the ending in detail and dive deep into the morals and ethics behind Joel's decision making. There's no doubt that, as the spectator, we were all willing for Joel to risk it all and save Ellie. This is due to the emotional connection we feel to the characters, but also, again, because we find this scenario relatable in some way. It taps into a deep biological instinct for us. It's easy for us to imagine our own loved ones in such a risk, and when posed with that kind of dilemma that Joel faces, most of us find it hard to imagine him making a different choice. The Last of Us conclusion is, at its roots, a modified variation of the well-known moral ethical dilemma, the trolley problem. A quick summary. The trolley problem is defined by Merriam-Webster as follows: a thought experiment in ethics about a fictional scenario in which an onlooker has the choice to save 5 people in danger of being hit by a trolley by diverting the trolley to kill just one person. This conundrum has plagued minds for so long because it asks a very difficult question. Does direct responsibility bear the same weight morally as passive responsibility? Does the act of pulling the lever to divert the trolley to just one person constitute as more responsibility than just merely observing as the trolley crushes 5? The majority of people find it quite easy and instinctively say that they would pull the lever, diverting the trolley to kill just one person. They are able to justify this action by pointing out that they have, hypothetically, saved 4 lives. In The Last of Us, it isn't quite as straightforward, but the dilemma is comparable. Let's shake it up in a way that relates to The Last of Us, and imagine that the one person on the track is someone that you love, someone you swore to protect. Suddenly, it's not even a dilemma, you'd pull that lever without thinking. But what if we change the numbers, and instead of the trolley killing just 5 people, it kills 1,000? Does your instinct to protect a loved one extend that far? This is the kind of moral quandary that was facing Joel as he made the decision to escape the hospital, kill the staff, and save Ellie. Except I'd argue that the stakes are even higher. Joel was sacrificing the potential for the human race to survive the cordyceps and attempt to return to normality. He couldn't face passively being responsible for Ellie's death. He couldn't lose her in exchange for that. The ruthlessness with which Joel executed the people at the hospital, even the people he knew such as Marlene, is an act which showcases his barbaric nature. There were soldiers already maimed begging for him not to kill them, but he did so without hesitating. Joel's actions here are categorically evil as well as selfish. It may be hard to perceive Joel this way because of the attachment we feel to the characters, but if this story was told from another perspective, it is a story of an armed madman storming a hospital and mercilessly killing everyone in his path in pursuit of a selfish goal. During the finale, we are exposed to the Jekyll and Hyde nature of Joel. It's hinted at earlier in the series during exchanges between him and Tommy that Joel is capable of heinous things. Joel continuously justifies these previous acts by proclaiming that it was us or them, a rationale that can be used to explain his decision making at the crescendo. We're treated to a rare moment of vulnerability between Joel and Ellie at the midpoint of the episode, during which Joel is opening up about his suicide attempt, explaining that he feels better now, and Ellie quips, "Time heals all wounds." Gazing back at her teary-eyed, Joel says, "It wasn't time that did it," implying that Ellie has become Joel's new purpose, Joel's new reason to keep fighting. We can see here the value that he has placed on 1, keeping Ellie safe, and 2, we also gain an even better understanding of why Joel may be unable to perceive of a future without Ellie. As the episode hits full momentum, we're witnessing Joel wreak havoc on, in this context, innocent soldiers, to a beautifully crafted orchestral reimagining of the theme tune. A really well built scene where the chaos and violence is juxtaposed by a truly gorgeous soundtrack. As Joel is emptying rounds into hospital staff, I'm again being hit by one of the core themes of the series. There is a villain in all of us. It's far more complex. Most people are some kind of mess of greys, mostly good but capable of evil under the right circumstances. Joel's actions here are cold, reckless, morally wrong, and I'd stretch as far as describing them as evil. But yet, as the audience, we wanted him to commit those acts. This contradiction is the mark of great storytelling. It's a theme that plays out throughout the show. We want both characters to walk through the fire to protect each other. As the audience, we know that Joel's decisions here are shaped by the death of Sarah, a trauma that caused a scar that never truly healed until he met Ellie. And for this reason, we empathise with his actions, because we know just what Ellie represents to him. She's more than just cargo. She represents a second chance for Joel to put right what went so wrong for him that night. A chance to be the protective father that he wanted to be. Without context, Joel looks like a true villain. But with everything we know, we can understand his flawed moral judgments and accept them. Perhaps there's a lesson there that we can take into our own lives. We never know the depths of other people's suffering. Sometimes a person's decision making may puzzle us, but there may be a direct correlation between a prior traumatic experience that led them down that path to act so recklessly. It's impossible to take such drastic action without suffering consequences. And without giving too much away, every Joel has an Ellie and vice versa. The next couple of seasons will branch out from this very decision that Joel made. Were there people murdered here that had sworn protectors, or that were depended on to protect others? I guess we'll find out. Anyway, it's spring weather here in sunny England, so I'm going to go out and enjoy it. Who's up for a round of golf? If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, as it is greatly appreciated. I'll also leave a link to my Substack in the description, which is where I post all of the scripts for my videos, as well as any other pieces of writing I put out. Until next time.